Hello everyone, an update just dropped from Bermuda. I'm a bit late because I was asleep when this dropped, but there's a new update for Bermuda. Obviously you can see here's the rise of the Earthbreakers, new Apato remodel and dual mechanics, and I'm going to cover these in, I'm not going to cover them in detail. I'm just going to basically give I've read it and I'm going to give you a little indication of how it's like. For example, because there's like the dual section, that's really large, so I'm just going to put a too long didn't read part of it, but if you obviously want to read it, I will hold up on the screen for you to read it if you wanted to. Now let's get into this. Right, so what we have is obviously the main Nintendo, Apato. They've reworked it as a playable creature. Apato has now a totally new model, which obviously is a very nice model at the moment. It is similar than the previous implementation. It is smaller, sorry, not similar. All the stats have been adjusting accordingly, which means that some of the stats have been toned down, like its health and its weight and such, because it's smaller. But that's fine, it's still an active brawler. Appa has a totally new updated set of animations, which is actually a neck swing, distress call, submissive call, kick, basically everything. Everything that Apato had, every animation it had has been reworked. All of it. Everything. So what you can think of Apato has been changed. Old Apato is no more. It is sent to the Shadow Realm. Apato has kept the sounds, which its other sounds, which means it's 1 to 3, so 1, 2, and 3 call are all the same. 4 call and 5 call are new. Apato has sound effects for its kick, legs, and neck sweep attacks. So when you obviously do them, you have new sounds, and when you hit, you can have new sounds and such. Apato has a taunt and a secret way to unlock it, and I won't tell you. You'll have to figure that out. Partially because I don't actually know myself, so get wrecked. There is a new Glimmer skin, Apato skin, which I'm pretty sure is actually better than the last Appa skin, because the last Appa skin was just on its neck, whereas the new one is actually down its body as well. Obviously they've got a bunch of new skins, you can have a look at those if you want to, and Calpato, the glorious one. Elder Morphs, so they've added Elder Morphs for Koa, Apato, and Megaraptor. So now you can see them down here is how they affect the dinosaur, like the Koa gets like a major big horn. That's really nice. And basically how it affects is it starts morphing in at 1.2 and ends at 2.0. But then you will be considered fully Elder. After 2.0 growth, the Elder Morph continues to fade in more slowly and will grow with you. There is a growth cap on the server. The Elder Morph will be 100% at the growth cap. So what that means is if your growth cap is 1.5, the Elder model will be Elder at 1.5. Fully. Yeah, see that? Oh yeah, it's just said there. Morphs can be previewed in the creature selection screen by adjusting a new preview growth slider. So yes, in the when you select your creature to play, it will give you a growth slider now. Right, so they've added the combat difficulty icons. This will help people determine how big some players are and how hard they're going to be to kill. So depending on, you'll sniff them, and basically you sniff them, and depending on how big they are, you will get a different indicator. So if they're ×2 your growth or greater, a skull and crossbones will be displayed. 1.5, it would just be a pair of crossbones. If 1.25% your growth or greater, a single bone displayed, and if the player is less than half your growth, the broken bone is displayed. So giants would obviously see this a lot. So it's not going to be a hard fight for them whatsoever. They've added new foliage placement tools, and from what I can tell, a bunch of cave stuff. And oh yes, the green screen. I'm gonna have fun with that one. Shape ramp, shape wedge, shape cylinder. Oh, that's nice. They're gonna add a bit more to it. But yes, I'm looking forward to that green screen. Cuba can make some nice little funny edits with that. More Koa skins by these talented young people. Vocals. Here's another one. You can now choose to have a high, low, or normal pitch voice. This also affects Acro's Intim, as you've seen in my previous video, and the character tab of the selection screen. So you can choose this as you're customizing your character. Slight adjustments, they do not change the total playtime of the vocals, so it stays the same. When mating, a child will inherit a blend of the parent's vocal tones. So that means that if you have a female that has a higher pitch than the male that has normal pitch, you might have a slightly higher than normal pitch. It's just a random blend. You can preview your call in this custom screen selection, and other players will not hear it, so you could just use it. Right, this is the dueling section. I'm going to basically do a too long didn't read because obviously this is a large segment, but you're free to read wherever you want. I will leave it paused up here for you to read. But basically, you can challenge someone to a duel. Any outside interference that does more than 33% of your health, I think it was, will cancel the dueling, from what I can tell. It might be 33% or it might just be a certain amount. You can duel friends and such, and the second you hit a threshold, aka you're basically going to die, it will refresh back to the base stats you were before the duel happened. So you basically like the duel never happened, but obviously you get to see what happens when you duel someone. This is basically a system where you can duel without risk of dying, and test damage and test how to fight dinosaurs without dying. So it's a really nice addition to the game, and I'm really liking it. But obviously take your time to read. That's just a very simplified version of it. There's way more in depth for this duel system. So obviously, yeah, read into it. It's really nice. Let's get into the balance changes. Oh, look at his little face. He's so happy. So, when you're knocked in the air from knockback effects, you now take 50% reduced injury on landing. So, patchies and like appers that will knock something in the air and hit the floor, they'll take half the injury damage. That's good. I like that. Reduce the travel distance required for distance travel underground trials was 25%. That's not that bad, but I can understand why it's needed. Acro. Balance acros that are below 0.8 growth no longer apply a full intimidating roar to creatures above 1.0. Yeah, that's good. I do agree with that because that was abuse. The effect is half in this case. Increased acros sitting and laying down transitivity. From what I went on my server and tested it out, from the test server where I was complaining it was a bit slow, I'm not the only one who was thinking that apparently, because it's now been changed to be a bit slightly faster now. So I'm happy for that, because that was the speed of that acro was a bit insanely slow. So I'm happy they changed that back. Acro's intimidating roar is now half as effective against Apato under all conditions. So that means even if you have 5 inherit into Intim roar, it will still do like 32% rather than 54%, something like that. It's not good math, I know, but just bear with me. It might be something like 29%, but other than that, it's not as effective against Apato, so you have to be careful of that still. So basically, what I can gather from this first bunch of it is just Apato's speed increased by a major ton. Its walk speed, its sprint speed, its swim speed, and its sprint speed. Fucking hell, that one. Tongue twister. Apato's base health is now 4,200, down from 6,000. Reduced Apato's tail whip damage to 175, down from 333. So that means tail whip isn't your main method of damage anymore, which is good, because more reliable in other attacks. Increased Apato's walking turn rate from 45 down up from 25. So basically, they've nearly doubled your turn speed. So you turn twice the speed now. That's really fucking good. Sprinting turn rate, same thing as well. They're both at the same turn rate now. Apato's swim and walk speed now. Oh, walk turn rate to 30 up from 30. Basically, they're just increasing it all. Every speed aspect of the Apato, they're buffing up. So it's not just going to be a slow lumbering mass, it's going to be an actual brawler. Reduce Apato's weight to 3,300, down from 5,000. See, this is a nerf, and you'd think the reason why is because Moses can grab you, and stuff like bleed will be more effective against them. So something like a Megaraptor or Acro or Koa would be doing a lot more bleed to them. Increase Apato's water drain by 40%, which now matches Psi. So that means they can't just sit down and AFK anymore. Apato's water drain rate, yep. Apato's food rate by 5% is not that much, to be fair. Reduced Apato's base heal rate to 15, down from 22.5, and the reason for that is because you have lower health. Reduced Apato's acceleration to match that of Para. Acceleration is just how fast you get from walking to sprinting. Apato can now be damaged by flyers. Ooh, that one's, yeah, see this is labelled under the experimental, so this is we're seeing what's going to happen, and if it's obviously too abused, they're going to remove it, but if it's not abused and it's actually well, they're going to keep it. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. Apatosaurus no longer has immunity from Moses grab once it reaches 0.9, so now Apatos can get grabbed under all circumstances. Sorry, I can't say that word properly. But yeah, they can get grabbed no matter what now. Apato's Tau now takes 50% reduced damage when it's actively open. This stacks multiple, yes, that word, with regular 50% Tau hit damage reduction. So basically before it was they take no damage, but now they take some damage, so obviously they've changed that around. Apato's Tau can only do 1 knockback per Tau whip, but the knockback has been increased. So before, the Apato's Tau whip it would constantly tick, so you couldn't get anywhere close to it, sort of thing. Whereas now it's just going to do it once. So you get hit once, it'll give you 1 knockback, which is very much better in my opinion. Apato now has kick in place of its stomp attack, which obviously does the injury. Well, I'll probably read down here. The kick attacks deal knockback, injury, and moderate regular damage. So you can use it as an actual attack. You can probably spam it as well. It does injury, so keep that in mind. So something like a Rex, it probably does a lot of injury too. Both the left and right foot can kick. That is dependent on camera. So if you're looking left, you'll use the left foot. If you're looking right, you'll use the right foot. Foot closest to your camera. Oh yeah, the foot closest to your camera will look in the direction to kick. Apato cannot kick while swimming. Oh, they've changed that now. So now it is completely defenseless in water, because before you could kick while swimming, but now they've made it so you can't. Okay. Apato now has a neck sweep attack as its ability. The neck sweep attack deals significant damage and light injury damage. It does not deal knockback damage, so keep that in mind. So if you're doing a neck sweep, they can probably just continue that forward and go straight for your neck and bite some more. Neck sweep is buffed by Earthbreaker talent, which means it speeds up. It doesn't actually buff its damage, I'm pretty sure. It just speeds it up. But don't quote me on that, that's just a pretty sure part. Apato can neck sweep while swimming. Oh, okay, so they made it so you can neck swing, but you can't kick, as well before it was the other way around. So you can neck swing in water. Apato's knockback is now a less extreme, dealing more consistent knockback regardless of throwback related talents or sizes. So that means, I don't know what that means precisely, but I'm pretty sure that means that it's less fluctuating or insane. This is actually an oversight. This behaviour of these knockback effects should now be feel more consistent with other source of knockback. Oh, here comes the talent tree one. Swiftness is now a tier 5 talent, which means it's at the top. Powerful legs is a 4.1 mobility tree. I'm pretty sure that basically means the 4th tier of the first one. So it's like first and second. And improved backup is now 1 out of 2 in the mobility tree. Apato now has sneaky. That is a scary fucking thing. 5 sneaky Appas gonna be sneaking up on you. As a 2.1 mobility tree. Increase Apato's growth speed by 10%, so you grow faster. That's really good, I'm enjoying that. Apato can now knock down trees while sprinting backwards. Okay. Apato no longer ignores Koa's, I'm not gonna say that full word, Koa's frill damage reduction when attacking from Koa from the front. Oh, so that means that Koa's can just sprint at Appas now and still do the reduced damage. Keep that in mind, so Koa's might be an actual fighter for Appas. Apato's base stamina to 65 down from 80, so this is stop them from constantly running everywhere, so they have some downside. Replace Apato's long runner talent with backup. So yeah, it's not going to be as in a sprinter, it's going to be just... It's going to be fast but not happy as much as a sprinter. Okay, that's quite cool. Apato's ability from 1 to 120 from 100. Yeah, that probably was needed because its attacks are very strong. Ability draining, I should say. For the purpose of knockback, Apato now has built-in +3 stoic. So Patchies and other Appas are not going to knock it back as much. Let's get on to the other dinosaurs then. Chrono's knockback is less extreme, dealing more consistent knockbacks regardless of knockback related talents or size. Actually, an oversight on the behaviour and knockback effect should feel more consistent, yeah. Megaraptor. I wanted to see some Megaraptor buffs because they're severely lacking at the moment. They're not really glass cannons, they're just glass at the moment, which I'm quite happy they're getting buffs recently. Megaraptor's egg incubation radius is now 2 times what it was previously. Fair enough. Increase Megaraptor's base sprint to 1025 instead of 1000. That's good. I'm enjoying that one. That's good. Reduce Megaraptor's ability drain rate while grabbing other players by 30%. I never really have an effect with this, so this doesn't affect me, but obviously those Nest Raiders it will affect. So that's a good one. Patchy. Replace Patchy's Unbreakable talent with Nest Raider. Okay. So if we're going to have baby stealing Patchies now, oh no. As much as Patchy was the hated dinosaur, it's going to be even more hated now. Paras can now knock down trees in quad stance while sprinting. Okay. Oh, here's what everyone wanted to see. Size attacks now ignore thick hide, so fighting a Rex you'll do your full damage now no matter what. Increase size base stamina from 265 up from 50, so you can be a bit more of a sprinter now. If Sai gets hit during its... Oh yeah, this is a good one. If Sai gets hit during its reflect, it now refunds the baseline cost of the reflect before diminishing return costs are added. So what I'm pretty sure that means is the base cost for the shield will get refunded. But if you, for example, if it's your first diminishing return, no, if it's your third diminishing return, it will still refund you the base one, but it won't refund you the third cost of it. So you'll still lose some AP. So that's really nice. Players who have positive friendship grades with the side no longer trigger this refund. Okay. Players who have a group Players who are in a group with the Sire no longer trigger this refund. Sire can no longer be knocked back by Apato's Tail Whip. Oof, that's going to be deadly. Oh yes, here's a nice little mechanic change. All herbivores and omnivores can now walk and eat at the same time. So that's a quality of life, I'd say, more of anything. Resurrections can now be done even if you do not meet the point requirement for resurrection. So what that means is you don't have to consume a dinosaur to revive another dinosaur. You can just revive it without the point requirement. But the downside of it is, without meeting the sacrifice cost, more growth is subtracted from your creature upon resurrection. So you can basically do it for free, but more growth will be taken. So this is still a good thing, because if you have inherits that you want to keep and you have like god tier nested acro, for example, you can still constantly resurrect it. And yes, you'll lose growth, but at least you can still have those inherits and such, so it's much better. If you meet part of the resurrection before resurrecting, only some of the additional growth penalty will be subtracted. You can no longer go below 1.0 growth when you meet the full resurrection cost. So if you're 1.0 or 1.05, let's say, 1.054 or some shit, you won't go below 1.0 apparently. I don't know how that's going to work, I just assume. Most creatures can now lower their heads more when sprinting, making it easier to bite down and hit smaller creatures without stopping. So something like a Vito and Ori, you can still bite them while sprinting, because before it was pretty hard to hit them. You had to stop sprinting and crouch down or something. You can no longer get negative inherits when reincarnating if the average of your free trials category is 85% or better, down from 90. So it's a bit more lenient on how much you can have now. So let's get some quality of life in here, shall we? Quality of life. All save creatures have been given a reskin for this patch. Oh, nice. That means if you have a dinosaur already, or on a survival server, you have been offered a reskin, so you could completely reskin your character. If the first character of a chat is a slash, it will no longer send. Because before, if you do a slash and just didn't send anything, it would still send, but there would be no text with it. So they've removed that now. The egg indicator on the HUD now shows how many eggs you have in total. That's good. The triangle trials displayed UI element on the save select screen now considers sacrifice and pledges as its display. That's nice. Carcasses now periodically flash red if edible, while the scent key is held. That's really nice. That helps carnivores. This effect is similar to that of edible plants for herbivores. Yep. Carcasses that you can pick up without creating a drumstick now have a little carry icon on the sniff prompt. So when you sniff it, it says this carcass is fresh or has satiation. To the left or right of it, you'll see little weights, and that means that you can pick them up. That's really good. Eggs can now be picked up by player, now show a little carry icon in the sniff prompt if they have at least one talent in Nest Raider. Same thing goes for them. If you can grab another player, it now shows the carry weight icon on their scent screen. That is a massive buff for Moses. So that means you can see if you can grab it before you even grab it. That's a really big buff to them, and even obviously that babies, good parent and baby snatchers and such. That's a really big quality of life. That's a really big one. You can now view your talents and inherits in the save select screen by clicking the talents button. The button is located next to the trials button. Oh, so you might have like a little a stats screen, so you don't have to go into the talent tree and show people that way. You can just click on that and just send a screenshot. That is really quality of life. Holy crap. Moved the snowy mountain spawn on rival shores behind the mountain and added water source back there, so the spawn point is less campable by patches. moved the spawn point specifically because of patches. Ugh, if that doesn't shout OP, I don't know what doesn't. I'm joking, obviously. Added a new gameplay option, disable all chat. Oh, I might even use that one, you know, because a lot of shit that goes through global gets my shit age restricted, even though I do swear a lot myself. If enabled, the player will not receive any chat messages other than direct messages sent by the moderator. See, I don't mind that, but I do want local, because local does help a lot. Combat log events will still print in the chat log if they configure to do so. Apato now continues to sprint if you toggle between moving backwards and moving forwards. Okay, that's good, yep. Para now continues to sprint if you toggle between moving in quadrupedal and biped, so it doesn't lock you in. So when you're holding sprint and you press the button to go into those stances, it won't stop you from sprinting, it will keep you sprinting, because that's really nice. So let's look at the admin features. Added a feature to remove chat history from a player. This is nice if they're saying some naughty words in chat. You can obviously just clear them. Clear chat from player for all. Obviously, I'm guessing this is the last. Optimization. Main menus such that it is now more optimized than before. Optimize some laggy rocks on Forest Island to improve performance in certain areas. Upgraded Bob to use DirectX 12 rather than DirectX 11. Oof. I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll see. And obviously a mass load of bug fixes that I'm not going to read, but I will leave on the screen for you guys to read. Obviously pause the video if you want to see it. But that is what we've got for the patch. And honestly, from my opinion, just from reading this is a massive update and will make the game a lot more fun to play. I can't wait to play it. Obviously, if you want to test the Apato out, I'm going to shameless plug here, but obviously my video, so screw you. Join my deathmatch server, Dying Embers Deathmatch, and have a go with the Apato. I went on there this morning because I forgot to update it, and well, it's got a lot of people in it just messing around. So obviously, feel free to have a look, and see you later. Oh yeah, the character, like vocal pitch. This is the little vocal pitch area, like you can preview the growth fit. So this is the elder model of the Megaraptor, and that is the normal model. So it's just a bit more beefier, pretty much. But you can like, yeah, look, you can just. It's really nice. I like that. And you can preview your own little things. Make it a deep voice. Oh yeah, look, see this car right here? I smell him. And you can see little dumbbells next to his name. That means I can pick him up. So if I just do this. No, I can't. But fuck. Damn. Look at that. Look at that fucking Koa Elder model. Look at it. It's fucking beefy. That's the normal one. And that's the Elder one. Look at how beefy that is. That's fucking cool.